Folks, my name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today, I want to have a little mind conversation with everybody. Today, pricing in perspective. We call this the PP video, okay? When we discuss pricing in perspective, it can become very mind-bending, philosophically and psychologically confusing. So, on the big two, we're going to focus is Magic and Pokemon. And first, we're going to start with Magic the Gathering. In a perfect world, in perfect efficiency, no Timmys, no employees, no Rudys, no market manipulators, no stepsisters, just in a perfectly efficient world where everything has the perfect value assigned in the market, we would assume MSRP and scalpers and all this stuff really wouldn't exist. We would assume because the market would value the item at the correct MSRP. So if a Magic the Gathering collector box MSRPs for $500, we would assume every Magic the Gathering collector box comes out and is $499. Maybe in your local store it's $499 plus tax. Maybe online it's $499 plus shipping and tax. Whatever. A regular Magic the Gathering play box would be MSRP of $150. Foundations, Bloomburrow, Tarkir, Dragonstorm, every box would just come out, and on release day, people go to their local Walmart and Target, which is always MSRP, $5 a pack or whatever it is. Or people would go to their LGS and they would buy a play box of Magic for $150. In a perfect world, pricing would be predictable and smooth. Level 2. In Pokemon, in a perfect universe, every Pokemon set would come out and they'd be what? MSRP, right? MSRP. So that'd be $160 a box, let's call it. So essentially every Pokemon box should just come out, and on release day, TCG Player has it for $160 plus tax, so $180 shipped, and every LGS and retail and Walmart and Amazon and everything should just be $160 for every new Pokemon set. In a perfect universe, all of these numbers should be pinned there. They should be pinned to their true value, and the company who makes the product states the true value of this product, the manufactured, suggested, retail price. I don't know why there's something big towards my mouth. It's kind of creepy. Should be what the manufacturer suggests. That's really all there is to it. Okay? Then we get into the real world. Whereas any of you all have spent all your money in young years going to college to try to get smarter, most of you watching this would realize that most of the time you spent in college was pretty much staring at hot chicks and dudes and pretty much all the other things and not really focused on actually learning. And you'll learn that the theory they teach in finance and time value of money and the value of currencies and erosions, exchange rates and time, all of this shit in theory doesn't exactly line up to the real world one-to-one. Good example 2 years ago when inflation was 10, 15%, 20%, and I was on YouTube saying, stay the course, folks. Rudy's goal was 7% a year. And all of a sudden, all these financial people who've never heard of me before goes, oh my God, this Rudy guy's so dumb. Inflation's at 20%, and he's over here telling people to target 7% returns. He's telling people to guarantee to lose 13% a year in purchasing power because inflation's outrunning them. So again, in theory and real world, it always becomes murky and funny. And of course, people want to use anything they can to be dramatic. So now let's talk about the fun stuff. Nothing ever comes out and is selling for MSRP. Nothing ever comes out and what they suggest happens. The real world doesn't work that way. The real world doesn't care about my hair, doesn't care about your emotions, and no one gives two fucks how you and I feel. The real world is a very big, very messy, very cold, very unforgiving, and very volatile world. So now let's look at what's going on with Magic. Rudy, these Magic the Gathering collector boxes, Tarkir Dragonstorm collector just came out. You sold your boxes for like 320s or 330s or something shipped. That's kind of you're kind of a scammer, and it's kind of scalpy. And now they're about 400 with tax. Okay, what's your point? So what's interesting is and I stand by my opinion that collector boxes for Tarkir are going to be $500 to $1,000 a box. And honestly, probably less than 12 months, which is faster than it should, in my opinion. But in reality, when you really step back and you take all the dumb shit out of the way, all the emotional, uneducated, stupid Timmies out of the way, and you actually step back and think, well, what would it be like if the boxes actually came out at the full 500, Rudy? So, Bloomborough 500, Wildsville Drain over 500, Foundations 500. I can go on and on. Well, what if day one? Okay, well, what if everybody got their wish? What if from day one, every collector box was just $500? And of course, specialty collector boxes, Fallout, Doctor Who, Lord of the Ring dings, Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy. Well, they all came out at their MSRP of $600 or $700. It's just, some are higher, some are lower, whatever. So how would you feel then if the market got its wish and instead of these price swings, everything actually came out and was the full flat price? Right? Well, the thing is, whoever you ask that question to, their answer is going to be dictated based on what side of the equation they're in, and what side of the equation, what side of the road they are at when you ask them the question. If they're an LGS store business owner trying to make a living, pay their employees, and support their family, and save and build wealth for the future, they're going to want whatever the highest price is. If you're talking to little Sally over here who's angry at everybody and saying everything's too expensive, how can Wizards and Hasbro get away with this? How can Pokemon not do anything about this? If they're on that camp because they want things cheaper and cheaper and they're going in the non-favorable direction, they're going to be very angry. Now, if the price starts tanking, suddenly that little Sally gets real quiet. And all of a sudden the LGS is like, well, crap, now I can't sell the product. Nobody wants it. It's stuck on the shelf. If I lower the price, I'm going to lose money. And now if I sell online, and now it's below cost after shipping and fees. So now I can't even make money, and now I'm bleeding money. I'm going to have to either close the business, lay off employees, cut hours, or discontinue the product. So now you get into the tug-of-war of the real world. So now you can say, well, if they printed more, it'd lower the price. Well, if they printed less, Rudy, they would raise the price. Well, if they did this, if they did that, everyone's going to have their own solution and what they think. Because remember, we live in a free world over here in America. America's still free? Is it still free? We'll get back to you on that. And unfortunately, everyone you talk to has an opinion, and most people you talk to are going to tell you the same thing. That they have a way to do it better. They have a way to do it cheaper. They have a way to make it better. In Hasbro, Wizards, Pokemon, every card company, every YouTube influencer is a fucking idiot because all they have to do is ABC and the product and the pricing would be fixed. Scalpers would be gone. Everything would be solved. That's the reality of life. But the kicker is prices don't really appreciate as much as you think. So now now that I've weeded out all the people who are angry and they click their little thumbs down and gave me a free view and I can make a penny, and here's the Rudy perspective, everybody. The returns on everything is not as good as you think. I'm involved in, obviously, for those of you who've been around this YouTube channel a long time, you know I have heavy investments in real estate, heavy investments in the stock market, heavy investments in collectibles, heavy investments in passive income and interest generating instruments. And I can tell you a couple important things. Number one, in real estate, if you ever go to sell a house, you can use a Zillow, you can use a realtor, You can use one of these big investment companies that will immediately buy your house for 80 cents on the dollar, and they'll take it as is. No matter what way you go to sell real estate, there are commissions and fees, and you're going to lose 5% if you're lucky, maybe 10%, 20% if you're unlucky because you're just doing a quick sale and you want the money and run. There's no free lunch. And I always smile when idiots and uneducated people, usually younger individuals who don't know what they're doing, and they post on social media, how can I sell? I have $500 in cards. How can I sell it without paying the fees? TCG player, if I sell $500, they're going to take $50. And then I got to ship it and then make processing fees. So I'm going to lose like $60. That's like 12%. And, that's part of the services of these companies finding you a buyer, having stable platforms, and pretty much running the exchange, as they say. If you just buy interest-bearing passive things, you're going to pay a higher tax rate. You're going to be paying taxes on all interest and dividends you make. Now, of course, you're supposed to pay taxes on all the collectibles you sell, but most younger and small dealers and things like that, they don't. It is what it is. Now, larger stores and LGSs and businesses like me, I can't get away from it. The amount of money and stuff that flows through my name and my business is so massive, I can't just pay zero and hide it. But for a lot of smaller people, they have this thing of, why would I get interest in an account, Rudy? I got to pay 10% in taxes. Now, that's like selling my cards and paying 10% in fees. Correct. Correct, Timmy. You nailed it. There is no free lunch. And so people who say, well, don't do real estate, Rudy, because when you flip a house, you still got to pay realtors or selling costs or escrow, or you get amortization of property taxes on a monthly basis, or what if you're carrying costs with insurance or repairs and utilities and HOA fees, and then you got to pay to maintain the yard. Of course. You thought you were just going to buy a $500,000 house and just flip it for $1 million and there's no expenses and risk? Everything is similar, but in different terminology, language, and just the process is the same. It's all the same, folks. And the thing is, because we have this inefficient, stupid market in the card world, it breeds so much opportunity for regular people, because every day, play boxes, Pokemon boxes, collector boxes of Magic, Flesh and Blood boxes, Weiss boxes, One Piece boxes, all these things are mispriced. So as I stand here right now, let me give you guys another example. So I'm gonna give you guys a biased example, okay? I'm working on, for my patrons, an Adventures in Forgotten Realm 2021 collector box sale coming up. And I'm also working on a sale for Baldur's Gate, because simply put, I keep so many messages on it, and I'm selling it privately, and then fuck it, I might as well just make a regular sale. And the market's favorable, and people are asking me for it. So yes, I'm going to say, if I keep doing that, wouldn't it be easier just to run a sale, let everybody have a choice? That makes sense. Now here's the thing. Let me be really blunt. I don't care if you buy it from me. I don't care if you buy a box of Collector's Adventures Forgotten Realm Dungeons and Dragons from me or an LGS, or you go and you buy it in a basement or an alleyway on Craigslist. Let me be honest with you guys. Well, Rudy. Yes, Timmy in the back. Can we go over the price history? We will. Okay. So the price history on Adventures Forgotten Realm collector boxes, they're $230 a box now, or $240 with tax. Fuck it, just say $230. Okay. Well, Rudy, that's amazing. Is it? The product came out at $199 to $200 a collector box for Adventures Forgotten Realm collectors in 2021. The product collapsed in the bear market to a low of about $120 a box. The product is now doubled in price and hit all-time high at $230 a box. So how do you feel about that? Do I sit here and pretend the product didn't collapse and say, folks, it's all-time high, it's doubled in price? And do I leave the context of the conversation that it dropped by 50% and now it doubled in price? Do I skew how I make you guys feel in the bedroom? Or do I be blunt with you guys? I told you all, my opinion, all these collector boxes are going to be $500 to $1,000, just like old Pokemon. And best in class, best in breed will be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a box. No, Adventures Forgotten Realm and Boulder's Gate will not hit $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a collector box. I just don't think it's possible. Now, I could be wrong because Rudy gets things wrong all the time. What? Rudy gets shit wrong? Does anybody else know this or just the internet? So I don't think it's possible for the prices to get that high. But let me tell you something. Adventures Forgotten Realm collector boxes should have never tanked to $120, $130, $140 a box. That's the real conversation, not the clickbait, negative, this and that dumb shit. The real conversation is a $230 Adventures Forgotten Realm box started off at $200 3 to 4 years ago. And in 3 to 4 years, the $200 box is gone up 15%. Or, divided by 4, 3 to 4% a year. It's done terrible. It's done terrible. There's no way to say that's good. You'd made more money in a CD or high yield savings account or a short-term, 3-month treasury or T-bill or something. I mean, you could have done better than anything, right? So, do we look at this situation and say, wow, Rudy, that's a 3-4-year-old collector box at $230. It's shitty. It hasn't done anything in years. Option B. Well, Rudy, if you think it's a $500 to $1,000 box, this is a great time to buy. Oh, option C. Well, the price has already gone up so much from the low, I think we're buying at the top. Do you see what I'm saying? The internet will always be filled with so much perspective and so much mud and dirt and confusion because so many people who you listen to comments, you go on social media, you go on the Reddits, the Discords, the MySpace, the OnlyFans, the Feet Finders. When you go to these websites, the people who post on these websites are some of the worst, most uneducated people that you shouldn't listen to. But the problem is they're the ones posting. The really successful, the people with the largest heavy ball sacks, the crazy Florida man, the people around the country who really are the movers and shakers, they don't give two fucks about all these Discords, Reddits, MySpace, OnlyFans. All of these, they don't care. They don't spend their days in all these private little MySpace groups, in private little Facebook groups with little people and approval and moderators. It's fairy dust. It's fairy dust. Because the people who are at different levels, they don't have time to listen to some of the people who just sit there and fill those websites with utter, disgusting, shit, bad information. That's the reality. Now here's the next thing. So let's go back to the beginning of the video. If we had an efficient market, the MSRP of an Adventures Forgotten Realm collector box, I'm picking on this item because I'm going to run a sale pretty soon, so I'm picking on it. So if the original MSRP is $350, in store, I think my store cost back in the day was lower. It was like what, $180 a box? I think it was $180. Maybe like $177 and change. Let's just say $180. Let's say $180. I see a situation where a $180 wholesale box should be MSRP for $350, but it came out at $200, collapsed in a bear market to the low hundreds, came all the way back, has now broken out to an all-time high, and is still only $230 a box as the market's thinning out and the product is aging and natural attrition and opening and everything is all positive for this item. I see a situation where you can get a $230 box online, not through me, just through any seller online. MSRP is $350. So in reality, this product never even made it to what the manufacturer thought it should be worth. Technically, if you bought today from any store on TCG Player for $230, you'd have to make a 50% return just to go back to what they thought the price would be worth at the beginning. That's my point. So in reality, this $230 Forgotten Realms AFR Dungeons & Dragons box is still 50% below what the company who made it thought it should be worth 4 fucking years ago. And Timmy is like, oh God, don't buy now. All-time high. Oh my goodness, I'm scared. Should I get a job? No, I'm going to hide. So, if you want to play the MSRP game and the efficient market game, you have to be able to discuss that double-edged sword with getting cut on your hand and getting blood on your hand and talking about both directions, pros and cons. And I see a situation where all these boxes there's still tremendous opportunity. And the thing is, the market is now warmed up and is obsessed with modern collector boxes. Now again, the market's obsessed with the new stuff. Foundations, Fallout, Lord of the Rings, Wildsville Dream, Ixalan, Jesus Christ, I guess Thunder Junction, Duskmorn, Bloomborough. It doesn't matter what it is. The market is obsessed with these things. There is no excess supply anywhere. You can't get more of them. Everything's all-time highs. And why do they keep going higher? This is the reality of a free market that's inefficient, that to me is starting to actually look like it's finally starting to understand after 5 years of collector boxes. I think we're finally on the right path with a product that's being tweaked and designed to products that, well, being sold at MSRP and actually being correctly priced. I think today's higher prices of $400 for Tarkir Dragonstorm collector boxes, like everyone's freaking out on it, and I'm over here going, actually, excuse me, I think MSRP is actually around $400, and I think that should have been the price all along, but no one's used to paying that. So because of price memory, emotions, and how stupid humans are, everybody's just agitated and jittery over it. And now that the market's actually finally going to where it should have been all along, everyone's upset by it. Rudy, Final Fantasy at $600-700 a collector box is outrageous. Then don't fucking buy it. I'm going to vote with my wallet. Nobody gives two fucks about your wallet. It's a speed bump in Chick-fil-A. And what happens when you... Look, I don't know about you guys. I guess some of you all, when you go to Chick-fil-A to order your waffle fries, do you pull in the drive-thru and go, oh shit, there's a speed bump. Fuck it, I can't eat waffle. Folks, there's a speed bump in the drive-thru. Everybody back up. We can't go through the drive-thru anymore. There is a speed bump. We all have to leave. What? No, there's a speed bump. You slow down, you get up to it, and you hit the fucking gas pedal. And you go over the speed bump, and you push forward, and you stay the course. You don't give up. You don't say, I'm never eating waffle fries. There's a yellow speed bump. I don't like anything that's yellow. I'm racist against yellow speed bumps. I'm never eating waffle fries again. Who the fuck does that? No! You pull up to it, you slow down, you go over, you hit the fucking gas. Do you see my point? Is there even a point? God, I'm retarded. I'm an idiot. So anyways, when you look at the whole situation, okay, the market is just doing what it should have been doing all along. Like Lord of the Rings green boxes and Holiday should have never been as cheap as they were. The Lord of the Rings Holiday boxes were supposed to be $550 MSRP from day one. And instead, stores bled money, shit went bankrupt, distributor relationships fall apart, and you couldn't do anything with them. You had to lose tons of money. Like, none of that was supposed to happen. And yet, if you listen to the internet today, it's, oh God. Surging Sparks, $250 for Pokemon box. Okay. It should have been $160 plus tax. MSR fucking P, right? MSR penis. That's our new... We should change it. So MSR penis is supposed to be $160 plus tax. That's $180. So what? It came out and it went up 20-30%. That's true gains in real value. Dumbasses screaming bubbles and oh, this and that, the reprint. All these uneducated, stupid people. They're the ones filling the internet with information and financial details that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The value, the suggested the MSR penis was supposed to be $180 with tax. It came out, the market loved it so much, it got 30% additional gains, and it's what, $250 now plus tax, $260 for what, Surging Sparks? Looks pretty normal to me. Came out after 3-6 months now, market still loves it, people are still buying it, cards are worth a lot, it's desirable. I don't see the problem. So what happens? Humans immediately, oh, bubble. Oh, something negative. No. Just because something's good and people like it and the price gets bid up, it doesn't mean anything. It's the same thing when the prices go the other extreme. Everyone just doesn't burn all the boxes and say, oh, well, it's not good. It's below MSRP. Nobody wants it. It just shows that if you really step back and you understand who the other people are on the field, you understand who the competitors are, you understand who the customers are, you understand who the fans and the audience are, the more you just sit back and think about it, the more absurd and the more laughable and the more opportunity you see. That is the truth of the matter. That's really it. So back to the Magic situation. I told you all the last 2 years, all Magic draft boxes are out of print. They're gone. It's an extinct product line. I told you all, I stand by my opinion. You can make fun of me all you want. I don't give a shit. I told everyone that draft boxes will be equal to or greater than the value of new play boxes. You can't have Magic making the new foundation play boxes and people are paying $155 or $160 ship for foundation play on TCG Player because people are stupid. They don't like money and they don't like Rudy because then you can save money. Yeah, this video is sponsored by me, the Patron Army. Foundations Play is back in stock. I'm updating the website and everything on Patreon. 118 shipped. I think the first few weeks I'm going to do limit 2 boxes. I want to make sure I don't blow out the couple pallets. But same thing, Bloomberg, all these things. You can't have Foundations play boxes for $150 and have Wilds of Eldraine out of print for $90. Or Rudy's, the patron price, $93 or whatever it was. It's out of print and gone now. It's over with. Sorry, you missed it. No. So what happened? Wilds draft skyrocketed, and now it's $150 a box. Well, Rudy, it's a bubble. Should I sell into it? No. Stop saying, just because something goes up doesn't mean it's a bubble. Wilds of Eldraine draft should have never been $90. Ixalan draft should have never been $90. Wilds of Eldraine collectors 2 years ago, when I got shafted and everybody told me to fuck off, and I got stuck with the thousands of boxes, those Wilds collector boxes should have never been $170, $180, $190. They went to the price they should have been all along, which was the $400 to $500 for a collector box. That is the correct price. Today's not a bubble. Yesterday was fucked up. This is the correct price. The market is just calming, and the ripples are being pulled out of the rug, and it's back to what it should be. Well, Rudy, what do you think about Scarlet Violet, like base set and Mr. P and all that stuff? SVO1 base and SVO2, Mr. P, Paldea, or Paldea Evolved or whatever. It's over MSRP-ness now. Folks, SVO1 and 2, how old is that now? Like 2 years old? So now, hold on a second, hold on. So a 2-year-old Pokemon set in a Pokemon bull market, MSR fucking penis is $160 plus tax, so $180. So you're telling me you don't want to buy into SVO1 from someone on TCG Player, Support Store, whatever, I don't care. You don't want to buy it because it's $200. So a 2-year-old product has gone 10% over MSRP. And you're over here going, oh, it's a bubble. I missed it. What? Like, that shows how short-sighted and just stupid the internet is. And that is why there are some other Rudys out there. They don't want to be known. They don't like YouTube. They don't like social media. There are some other very big whales in this Magic and Pokemon world. There are some patrons, and you know who you are, who've been with me for almost 10 years since the beginning. Rudy's been on YouTube 10 years, clock it. And they don't want to be known. They're very private people. These people are no joke. I'm talking 100 million, 500 million, even a couple patrons I know by name. They are in the billionaire club. Not millions, not hundreds of millions. I'm talking big boy club. And these people, when they want stuff, they buy it. They don't see things the way you and I do. And it's fascinating to see the difference of each layer in these systems. On the internet, it's filled with people who literally will buy one little booster box. And I'm happy for them. But they fill the internet with information and you don't know who they are. But you think this is some big whale, like doing big stuff. And most of it's not. That was the reason 9 of my 10 years ago on YouTube, I started making videos. Instead of my bookcase, I started filming and showing inventory because nobody believed me. And I started to realize, like, damn, everyone on YouTube says the same thing. I need to show the fucking receipts. And that's one of the things that changed me and changed the YouTube channel, because I proved that when I'm telling you these things, I show you the receipts. I show you the heaviest ball sack of heavy bags you'll ever see in your life. And you'll notice the people who are first to market, the people who have the real talk and all this stuff, they're the ones that make massive, massive amounts of money. And I'm telling you all, it's a perspective, it's a PP problem. Okay? I'm probably putting that in the name of the video. It's a PP problem. It's a pricing and perspective problem. It's the same thing today. You want honest advice? I would go on TCG Player, SVO1 base, $200 a box. Are you kidding me? A 2-year-old set? That's only 10-20% over MSRP? That's fucking great. They ain't printing more of that shit. SVO2 Mr. P, phenomenal set. Already been reprinted. It was still pushing all-time highs at 230. It was 160 plus tax at release. It was 180. And now it's only 230. It's only 25% over, and it's 2 years old, and it's an amazing top-tier product. And everyone's going, oh, God, all-time highs. Oh, bubble. Oh, bubble. You know, it's so... I don't think anything's ever going to change. And I know this is going to sound really kind of derogatory, but as long as nothing changes, and I don't think it will, there are going to be people out there that are going to continue to make money that you guys can't comprehend. I'm in a very fortunate situation. I'm going to use the term privileged. I'm in a very privileged, lucky son of a bitch situation, because I've been in this industry for almost 20 years, YouTube for 10 years, and doing this stuff pretty hardcore for about 15 years. So my connections and networking and my ability to get products and volumes and connections and everything is very special compared to normal people who, because again, to master any skill or craft or trade in this world, you got to go all in, balls deep for at least 10 years to be a master of anything. That's always been my opinion. You want to be a master mechanic, technician on cars and engines and transmissions, you need to do it every day for 10 years, then talk to me, then you're going to be a pro. You want to be a master watchmaker that can rebuild, APs and Pateks and Rolexes, you're going to have to do that shit for 10 years every day to really understand what you're doing. It takes time to be a master or a skilled tradesman at anything. And the biggest thing I've seen is that because the card world has such a high natural attrition, it almost creates a moat. And it kind of protects the 1% of the people in the card world that do the best. Because the natural attrition, I told you all that most people are 6 to 12 months before they come and go out of the card world. They're not in it long enough to see real rewards. They don't stay the course long enough to feel, wow, that really worked. Now, there's exceptions. And I have thousands of you guys that have been with me for 10 years. But just be aware, because 50 to, I'd even say up to 80% of this industry is short-term turnovers and natural attritions of people coming and going, that spinning door. I think it almost prevents the industry from maturing, and I feel like it locks people like me and some others in the industry in certain positions, and it makes it easier than it should be because people come and go. I don't know if that makes sense. That's kind of my attitude towards it, because, that's kind of just to step back to summarize, the Pokemon booster box thing. You could be a blind squirrel with no eyes running through the forest right now, searching for just nuts. And you want the biggest, best, juiciest pair of nuts to shove inside your mouth. I'm not going to laugh at this joke. And that squirrel is eventually going to find the biggest, juiciest nut, and he's going to shove it right in his mouth, and he's going to leave it there. And eventually it falls apart and softens, and the same thing with Magic, in Pokemon, you could take any amount of thousands. You could go online right now, pay full retail TCG Player with taxes, and you could buy random Pokemon boxes. And guess what? If you literally just put them on your shelf, leave them sealed, do nothing at all, in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, you're going to look like the smartest person ever. And you know what the conversation's going to be? Oh, I should have bought more than just that one. Yeah, I know. I didn't have much money at the time, but yeah, I definitely did real well. I 300%, 200%. It's your attitude's going to change. It's going to be crazy. And the same thing with Magic. In the Magic play space, you have play boxes and collector boxes and commander decks. Everybody already knows. Commander decks, they do great long term. Everybody knows. The play boxes, look what's happening. Look what happened with the extinct draft boxes. And the biggest of all, everybody's realized the potential for collector boxes. And people have also realized serialized cards play a big role, but even sets without serialized cards, Wilds of Eldraine, Ixalan, can perform incredibly well. And now we're in the situation where things are repricing and moving. And no, you haven't missed a boat. Just because something goes up in price doesn't mean it's a bubble. That's classic brainwash social media, and you're listening to uneducated, just fucking Timmies. And it's dangerous because it makes you go, wow, I should probably buy that. Oh no, everybody's bashing it. I'm not going to do that. Never mind. I thought it was a good idea, but I looked online, Rudy, and I changed my mind. And I think it's always going to be that way. That's all I have today. It was a long ramble, a long talk. I think the key takeaway of this video is that manufacturer suggested retail penis, the MSR penis thing, is got to be one of the most distracting variables in today's market that's causing people to make choices and decisions that they shouldn't be doing. Because if the price goes up too much, they yell MSRP was this, and I missed out. I'm voting with my wallet. If prices are bad and the market rejects or something goes down or a magic box, this and that, Karlov Manor. Oh wait, that's all-time high. Karlov Manor, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. There's all these pockets of the market, and they will go up. But because they're under MSRP, everybody looks the other way. And as long as people remain this way, and I think it's going to stay this way, because I don't think people will get smarter because of the natural attrition. The people who do get smarter, by the time they do, they've left the industry and new blood has come in, and they're not as educated. I think because of that, the opportunity will be almost infinite. As long as the card world exists and the release cycles exist and they're printing this stuff, I don't think it's going to change in our lifetime. And I think that is a really important thing. And now we're seeing, like I said, just leave everybody on this final thought. Like I said, with collector boxes, they should all be 500 plus. So whether you buy at release for $250, $350, even $400 right now, in the big picture over the next few years, I don't think you've seen anything yet. The market had a really hard time accepting just Lord of the Rings going to, I think it's like $1,800 for holiday boxes. Fallout, $1,000. Wilds of Eldraine collectors now, $600. The market's having a hard time accepting how big these numbers are getting. And I think that's, as we get over that hump and it becomes more normal, I think it's going to feel different. Thanks for the support, everybody. That's enough rambling today. Oh my God, 38 minutes.